No, you tell me one thing. You tell me, Mr. Nal.
Questions are put across.
Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. You know what I'm going to do now? What I'm going to do now, because one minute. But what I'm going to do now, 1 second, please. What I'm going to do now is that because Mr. Narwekar and Sanjay Jha are playing this childish game of heckling, I'll just put them on air. Let them speak for as long as they can. So let's put them on air, please. Can we have both of them on air? Let them heckle each other and then I'll come back.
You give adjective.
No, you just complete what you have to say.
You classify.
No, go ahead, heckle each other, no, for fun. You think this is a trivial discussion, right? You think it's one of those silly discussions, you're going to throw allegations at each other. I give you uninterrupted time. Let's put only these two gentlemen on air.
Screen in front of me.
Let's put both the gentlemen on air. Continue, please.
I don't have a screen in front of me.
Okay, none of us will speak. Let both of them speak.
In front of me. Rahul. Yeah. All right. I will take the opportunity because this is God sent. I never get a chance on your channel. Actually, this is a privilege that I've been waiting for the last 5 years. But anyway, Rahul, before you come in, only one point to Arnab Goswami today. My good friend Arnab, I want to just ask you one question. Why haven't you asked the Bharatiya Janata Party, where is the Lokpal, where is the CBI? I rest my case. You're back to being the anchor. Rahul, if you have something for Arnab.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, all I would like to say is this issue which has been raised is a very sensitive issue and definitely needs a lot of attention. But at the same time, there are equally important issues pertaining to the same subject, which also have to be brought in the forefront of this discussion. And if someone brings those questions in here, they shouldn't be termed as irrelevant, because by doing that, you are actually creating a bias, you're actually exposing a bias that is prevailing on the show tonight. Therefore, my only request would be that be fair and discuss all the issues which are brought forward in this discussion.
That's right.
Number two, like I've said, that I think this is a fantastic job by the Delhi police, and the Delhi police has to be applauded for that. There is no doubt about that. Okay. While Mr. Arnab Goswami may be in a haste to congratulate the government for reasons best known to him, but I think the true credit goes to the investigating officers who've done a brilliant job. So Mr. Arnab Goswami, while you would like to give the government all the credit, and I would also like to applaud them for their whatever efforts they may have put in, but I think due credit needs to go to the investigating agencies.
Okay. Of course, with people like Ranjit Sinha at the helm, we know what investigating agencies like the CBI have done in the past. In this particular case, now that you've both completed speaking, I hope you've exhausted your points, and I just want to add one point here. I feel that what has happened is very serious, gentlemen. I will not allow you to trivialize this. Documents of every ministry and the PMO have come in the hands of private players. What is exposed today is rampant lobbying, moles in the corridors of power, nexus of favors which has been exchanged between some ex-journalists, corporate consultants, top private businessmen with the level of low-level officials, sensitive, secret and classified documents from the Ministry of Petroleum, Coal and Power. Compromises India's entire sector. The most critical issue in all of this is, Mr. Venkatesh, I'd like to get you in and we can all debate this is, you see, look at the operations logically of a person like Santanu Saikia. He uses a website as a front, he carries out this business on the side. It's institutionalized business, rates are fixed, documents are pulled out in cartloads and sackloads and then sold to the highest bidder. This nefarious business model of Santanu Saikia has not happened in the last 6 months. He's been carrying out his operations for over a decade. My question is, while a person like Santanu Saikia, a dangerous operator like Santanu Saikia, was compromising the country with a breach bigger than that of 2G, because while 2G can be attributed to one ministry, this is several ministries and many private players. I simply want to know, while this dangerous person was operating, what was the Congress government doing in which the NCP was also a part? If I can have a clear answer to that, I'll be most grateful. If an answer cannot be given, I would also appreciate a frank admission that there is no specific answer that we can give you. We have to go back and find out and build some kind of a case. When Santanu Saikia was carrying out this operation for the past many years, what was the previous government doing? A simple question. Now you spoke, R Venkatesh comes in.
Can I answer?
R Venkatesh comes in.
Can I answer that?
I'll give R Venkatesh comes in.
There was no civil aviation.
How do you expect
Arnab, there was no
BJP
civil aviation minister in the UPA. There was no.
I mean, what kind of
Please wait.
No,
is yours?
Mr. Jha, you'll have
I
to
have
give
given
her
a
others.
chance. Let me be.
Yeah.
Arnab, let me be given a chance.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Arnab, listen, there was no UPA minister for civil aviation. There was a minister for X company who was incidentally in charge of civil aviation. There was no textiles minister. There was a minister who was incidentally in charge of textiles representing Y company. This was how UPA was running. There were only ministers of corporates. There was no minister for any particular ministry. And be that as it may, I see a symbiotic link between the first debate that you had and the second debate. You cannot stop a terror coming into this country, but definitely you can bomb the boat, you can definitely sink the boat. That is what this government has done. Congrats to them. Likewise, you cannot stop corruption, but if you catch the corrupt, you can definitely punish them, and this is what this government has done. This government has done the first baby steps. So let me hasten to add, this is the first baby step, but we need to congratulate them, because this is the first turning point. As I said, this is a defining moment in India's government.
Commercial advertisement for the Bharatiya Janata
No,
Party.
and a question goes out here. Mr. Jha, I will entirely understand today. I will entirely understand, Mr. Jha, if you cannot give a factual reply, but I will ask you a question. And my question is this. There is a person called Veerappa Moily. A person called Veerappa Moily.
Sympathizers on the Times Now channel today.
A person.
Why are only sympathizers on your channel today?
A person called Veerappa Moily.
You started by asking me congratulate the BJP. Is that how a discussion is really held?
Now my next question to you.
And I are raising serious pertinent.
Now my next question to you is, Mr. Jha, and the question is, Veerappa Moily said papers were being stolen when he was Petroleum Minister, a person called the name of Veerappa Moily, and let entire viewership of Times Now see tonight how Sanjay Jha wants to avoid a question which I am putting to him by trying to speak over me. The question is, Veerappa Moily said papers were being leaked. I want to know tonight what action was taken after your own Union Minister for Petroleum made an open admission that papers are being stolen. I want to know what action was taken by your previous government. I want to know what action was taken.
Arnab Goswami.
You want to talk about the past? Let's talk about the past. What action did you take? What action did you take after Veerappa Moily said papers are being stolen?
Let us talk on your channel. Let us not waste this time on adulating Narendra Modi as usually.
I'm sorry, I'm asking you a very straight question. Mr. Jha, either you have to get your Mr. Jha.
Mr. Narendra Modi's name has just come.
No, Mr.
Why is the Prime Minister being derogated for taking the right step in the interest of the country? What kind of joke is this? This must be the first political party that would like to see India go down the drain rather than see any step happen for helping India coming out of corruption. You would like to shoot the person who's removing corruption. What kind of this legacy are you bringing, Mr. Jha? What kind of legacy are you? You left a legacy of sin. And when that sin is being cleaned off, you are actually saying, let's denigrate it.
Stop lying.
I'm putting it on the record and I'm giving it to you as my statement. You have left behind a legacy of sin. And that sin is what you are cleaning out. You should be thankful that in the interest of future Indians, some steps are being taken. Well, what did you do in 10 years?
These are the facts.
10 years.
These are the facts, and so deep is the corruption that the fact tonight is this, that tonight you can neither trivialize the issue, and I began the Newshour tonight by saying, do not downplay the issue, do not trivialize the issue, because in the words of the Supreme Court of India,
against corruption.
In the words of the Supreme Court of India, A. Raja, minister in the Congress government of which the NCP was a very powerful player, wanted to favor companies at the cost of the exchequer, virtually giving away every important national asset by illegally allocating spectrum licenses. There was not one word at that point of time from people like Mr. Narwekar. Of course, that was maybe Mr. Narwekar took that position when he was in the Shiv Sena, and maybe he would not take the position now that he's in the NCP. My first caller tonight is Subhash Bundela from Nashik. I would like to hear the viewer now. Subhash Bundela from Nashik. Mr. Narwekar, please. Subhash Bundela from Nashik. Everyone's audio down. Only Subhash Bundela, please. Subhash Bundela, are you there? Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Arnab.
Good evening, please. Good to hear you. Thank you.
Arnab, I just, it's a pleasure talking to you once again. Arnab, I want to request you for one thing. let me please complete my question to Mr. Jha and Mr. Narwekar. I request you, because I don't want a disconnection in between. I have a question for Mr. Jha. Mr. Jha, does the India exist for you, or has it become Congress for you entirely? Any question Arnab asks you, you go back to BJP and Madhya Pradesh and all these things. Have you forgotten Mr. Kalmadi? Have you forgotten Mr. Ajit Pawar? Have you forgotten everything? Mr. Praful Patel? Have you forgotten everything? Does the country exist for you here? I mean, is there something people have sacrificed? There is Bhagat Singh, there is Subhash Chandra Bose. They have sacrificed their life for this nation, and see what you have brought, Congress have brought it to today. Or you on this Newshour channel, I want you to commit into the whole entire nation that if in interrogation, if it is found that Congress party has been directly or indirectly involved in this menace, whatever we are suffering today, will you publicly come on the television or Times Now and accept it today? Every question Arnab asks you, you have something to contradict it for. Everything Arnab has a question for you. You want to give 1001 examples of the misdoings of other governments. Why don't you accept it, for heaven's sake here? For heaven's sake, accept it in a yes or a no, that you have done a blunder for which we are paying as a citizen of this nation. We are suffering, we are paying, we are called, a corrupt nation in the whole world.
Mr. Bundela, he heard you, and if you want to respond, Mr. Jha.
Yeah, I will. If we did things right, we did many things right, which is why India grew at close to 8% over 10 years. We did some things wrong. Clearly, we lost the elections in May 2014. We accepted with humility. But just since you kept quoting Mr. Arnab Goswami, let me tell you, it's a debate. And as a political party, we have a freedom in a democracy to express our view. Yes. And we like to be heard. Good. Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
You. Mr. Jha, you must be heard. But what is very important is that you must neither be logic nor fact agnostic. The day you become logic and fact agnostic, the viewer is listening to you. Hemant is calling from Mumbai. Hemant.
Yeah, Arnab.
Good evening, Hemant.
Good evening. See, I don't understand why this Congress and the Jha both are being arrogant and anti-national. Today, I have heard both debates. In both debates, one is Arnab, this Jha, and another is Ranjit Surjewala. Both have made Congress come to 44 seats. They don't blame anybody. They should blame themselves. On the contrary, they are blaming BJP or Narendra Modi. I don't know.
Okay, Hemant.
Hemant
ji, I thank you for. Would Sanjay Jha like to respond to that, please?
Yeah, I would like to respond to that. I will once again say that television as a medium has a great influence on people's minds, and I wish anchors were a little more responsible and did not come across with some of their own preconceived agenda of where the debate should head. Unfortunately, it does influence public opinion, as I can hear it right now.
I think Mr. Jha, we decided some time back, let the viewers decide.
Mr. Goswami.
It's all right. See, I'll tell you one second. Mr. Nalin Kohli, one second. You see, Mr. Jha, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this.
You are being blamed for the ills of the Congress. They are not interested in looking whether they were being blamed for their own acts.
I heard the debate. I heard the debate of Randeep Surjewala, and I tell you what, you never asked this one question of Mr. Chari when he spoke very importantly. If it is true that was a terror bot, and it may be, why didn't the Prime Minister lodge a protest with Islamabad?
Again you are back to that. Again now you are falling into the hands of Pakistan. Again you are doing the same thing. Again you are building this case. If you made the wrong point of looking, this is how can you look about
why don't you, Mr. Goswami, may I suggest, do a Prime Minister to Prime Minister comparison between Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Narendra Modi. Mr. Modi has been in power in office only for 10 months, less around that much. Dr. Manmohan Singh was there for 10 years. So why don't we just analyze it by month?
One more caller. Kishore is calling from Hubli. Kishore. One second.
You want to do that, Nalin? It will be a pleasure. Ask Arnab to host a program. Both of us come on and I'll prove to you there's no comparison between Dr. Manmohan Singh and Narendra Modi. Dr. Manmohan Singh is a league beyond what Mr. Modi can even contemplate. Let me put this on record.
You can't prove what is impossible to prove, sir. The people of India voted. The people of India voted. Let's respect that.
Don't worry, they will vote again. They will vote again like they voted in Delhi. Your arrogance will be put in place.
Anyway,
they will vote again
of course,
like Delhi voted.
Of
There will be
course.
more elections.
Of course.
Don't get arrogant.
No, sir.
Don't
Of
get
course.
swollen-headed.
They have every right to vote again, and they have a right to choose anyone they want.
By the way,
they have a right to reject us also, sir. They have a full right to reject us.
Congress party is
We are not here that we believe that we will be only
by the way,
we will do our
Sanjay
work.
Jha.
Leave it to the people.
Sanjay Jha.
Let the people decide. The citizens of India decide who should be their government.
Sanjay Jha.
We will always respect that. We won't run them down for it.
Sanjay Jha, I would like to remind you that if there was one big obstacle to the Lokpal, which you take every time today, maybe you've exhausted all arguments, that is understandable. If there's one big obstacle, it was the Congress party, which kept calling Arvind Kejriwal and the India Against Corruption movement names. Now, let me not embarrass you further by repeating all that you did, because I remember very clearly what people like you used to say and the positions you took when Arvind Kejriwal, Anna Hazare and everyone else hit the streets on the Lokpal movement. It was you, the kind of resistance that you put to it, the kind of resistance that you put to it, Mr. Now, Mr. I don't want to say more, the viewer has understood. Mr. Chahal is calling from Port Blair.
Yes. So my question is to Mr. Sanjay Jha. So the question is that with the stature of a Prime Minister of Mr. Manmohan Singh's level, you could rule for 10 years, 5 years after and another 5 years, with some good work in UPA 1 and not so good in UPA 2. My question is that does Congress introspect at all, and will you be able to ever again rise from where you are right now and be pro-national and not anti-national the way you are with AAP and with BJP, and allow some progress with some introspection going on in the party and trying to look forward and not behind, and shedding Gandhi legacy and looking at some proactive good leaders who can lead you into the future? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chahal. Mr. Jha.
No. Thank you, sir. I think that's a very, very good question. I want to let you know that in the life of a political party, you win some, sometimes you go through a rough patch. I completely agree with you that, we have been through some difficult times. It's not just a loss in an election. We need to get back to the grassroots and strengthen ourselves, which we are in the process of doing. I promise you that as a party, not just because we fought for India's freedom, and I think today if you look around you anywhere in any part of India, let me assure you, there are many things that are not correct yet. But all the development that you see is also courtesy of the Congress party. See, India hasn't happened in the last 9 months of the Modi government. So trust in the Congress party, trust in our leadership, and I can assure you nobody else is hurting much more than the Congress party's people, and we are assured of very determined to make a comeback. I promise you that we'll be back.
Allow one rebut, and MR Venkatesh want to come in 1 second. Yes, Nalin Kohli first. Nalin Kohli first, then MR Venkatesh and Mr. Rajagopalan.
Yeah, just one sentence. Just like this, Mr. Jha just now said all the development that's happened is courtesy the Congress. So it was under the UPA government. In an affidavit in the Supreme Court, they said 50% of India's highways were built by Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government in 6 years compared to all the highways they built in the balance 24. So I just want you to know, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was not an agent of number 10 Janpath working on your behalf.
And by the way, as far as corporate, as far as corporate influence is concerned, Mr. Jha, just one fact, just swallow the fact. You don't agree, you may not want to agree, you may actually agree, but you may not want to say it on television. Jaipal Reddy, and I'm saying this with all responsibility, was removed because he did not suit corporate interests. That was during the UPA. Veerappa Moily was brought in. Then Jayanti Natarajan was not clearing environmental projects. She was removed and Veerappa Moily was brought in. These are facts. Go back and look at what you did. Look at what you were doing in the last 1 year of the UPA. Many things will be crystal clear to you. MR Venkatesh and Mr. Rajagopalan on where this espionage story is going to go. Mr. Venkatesh.
Arnab, this is the Yah movement for the Congress today, both the debates. If you look at it.
Prime Minister like Mr. Suresh Prabhu removed by the NDA in 2002.
Please wait.
One second. Mr.
Hello,
Suresh Prabhu
Mr.
is the
Nalin
present
Kohli,
Union
please,
Railway
Nalin
Minister.
Kohli,
Yes, please. Yeah, Mr.
Yes,
Venkatesh.
sir, everyone knows that.
See,
Everyone
this is
knows
a-
that. So why was Mr.
this is a
Jayapal Reddy
India
removed?
movement.
By his own party people. That was a coalition matter.
And I don't know whether compulsions of coalition politics or compulsions of corporate interests that Manmohan Singh was talking
headed
about.
by
MR Venkatesh.
by BJP.
MR Venkatesh, please.
It was an NDA headed
MR
by
Venkatesh,
BJP.
please let him come in. MR Venkatesh.
Arnab, both the war on terror and corruption should be a national movement. The Congress has as much a responsibility in fighting terror and corruption as the BJP has. If the Congress is going to view BJP's fight against
This is not just any other leak. This is absolutely a betrayal of this country. Budget inputs being leaked is unacceptable. This has never happened before. The finance ministry usually goes into complete lockdown a month before the union budget. Today we have inputs that key communication between the Ministry of Finance and the oil ministry was leaked to big corporate houses that gives them a heads up in policy making well in advance of the budget. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment for us to think, is this what we have brought down this country to? That everything can be sold for a few thousand rupees. And can this only happen with, the lowest rung, or are there big players, both in public life as well as in corporate life, who are involved? Let's think about it. Thank you very much for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.